Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and yes, the Steam Autumn Sale has kicked off, and there are tons and tons of great deals available right now as a part of said sale, and I'm going to highlight 15 deals that stuck out to me under the price of $5. Now, it should be noted, with this video, I'm going to be looking at deals above $3 but under $5. I'll do an under $3 video, I'm going to do an under $2 video, and I might even do an under $1 video. I glanced at some of the lower price games, and there's some sleeper stuff on this sale that is super discounted, and I'll look at some more of the expensive deals as well, but I know a lot of you guys are all about the cheaper games, so we'll get through as much as we can. And when you're looking at deals under $5, again, there's always a lot of good stuff, so let's get right into it. There's a ton to go over, so I thought I would have a gander at that. I am gonna say that some of these games do have third-party launchers, so if that isn't your cup of tea, I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of deals available. This is barely scratching the surface, as I said. I might even do another under $5 video with some other good stuff available as well. And I get it. A lot of you guys probably own some of these deals. I can mention the games that I've played and that I'm familiar with. I'll probably do a video that's just a rundown of, like, literally everything. But, yeah, let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with Borderlands 2, which is down to $4.99. Now, with this, you can pick up the Game of the Year edition for $7.99, and there is a 4-pack available for $15, so you get 4 copies of the game for the price of 3. Borderlands 2, in my opinion, is the best Borderlands game. I think Borderlands 2 is absolutely freaking tremendous. I think they hit a sweet spot with the comedy. I don't think it's overbearing, and I don't think it's like super, you know, I just feel like some of the comedy in Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands especially didn't hit with me. On top of that, you've got great gameplay and you've got a good overall story as well. Borderlands 2 is just an absolute classic, and I say this when it comes to Borderlands. I totally think it's fine to play Borderlands solo as well. I really do believe you're gonna have a good time with it, even if you do play the game by yourself. The gameplay is still really good, and it's just an enjoyable game all around. So definitely one that I would recommend for $4.99. That's a great price. I would say, you know, if you want all the content, picking up that Game of the Year edition for, you know, a little bit more, I think is well worth it, but otherwise, base game is fine as well. Just Cause 3, the XXL edition is 93% off for $4.50. This is always going to be a really good pickup. Just Cause 3, however, was one of the worst PC ports of all time back in 2015, but we are so far removed from that now when you play the game, you are getting something quite good, and you are getting something very enjoyable. And enjoyability is one of those factors that Just Cause absolutely nails. It's not going to be a game that you get emotionally invested into the narrative or anything like that. However, it is a game that you are absolutely going to love from a gameplay standpoint. It's just high-octane, fast-paced action mayhem, and sometimes that's exactly what the doctor ordered, and you want a game that you could just cause a lot of chaos and destruction in, but you don't have to get too invested into it. Just Cause 3 offers you exactly that, so definitely check that out. I want to give a shout to Shadowrun Returns, 75% off for $3.74. Bit of a throwback isometric RPG with some really good writing and a really cool setting. The unique cyberpunk meets fantasy world of Shadowrun has gained a huge cult following since its creation nearly 25 years ago. Now with this game, it is a bit of a throwback to an older era of RPGs while also modernizing it for the 2013 audience when it came out. $3.74 for that is pretty good. You've got the trilogy all on sale, so if you want the subsequent games, that option is open to you as well. But for this price, I think that's a pretty solid pickup. Next up, we have Vampire Survivors, which is 25% off for $3.74. This is already $4.99, so it's not like this discount is making it meet the under $5 threshold, but it is such a phenomenally received game. It's got 227,000 reviews and an overwhelmingly positive reception, which is just staggering. 98% positive. This is just a chaotic bullet hell action title, completely over the top, but something that I think you can get in, have a good time with, and have quick experiences with, but is also going to be an addictive experience. For $3.74, you know, it's not a sizable discount, but it's a game that was already heavily discounted that I would say it's well worth a pickup, so certainly do check it out. For this price point, I think that's a pretty solid shout. Next up, we have .hack GU Last Recode. This is down to $4.99. I think this deal is absolutely awesome. .hack is a franchise that I grew up with, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of inherent bias involved, but you get 3 games here. .hack GU Volume 1, 2, and 3. On top of that, you get a 4th smaller episode. If you're a fan of JRPGs, this is one that's gone under the radar for so long, but I would say it's well worth it. Now, they are PS2 era games, so they do show their age a little bit, but overall, I would still say they are really, really well done. Outside of some stiff animations, like overall, you're getting quality gameplay. Yeah, some redundant environments, but overall, narratively, it's quite great as well. So definitely for $4.99, good pickup there. Little Nightmares is $4.99 as well. An incredibly atmospheric horror title that creates an incredible tone, and I feel like that's one of the most important parts of a horror game like this. Little Nightmares has become a bit of an IP that Bandai Namco seems to be popping off with. Little Nightmares 3 is scheduled to release next year, and Little Nightmares 2 is great as well. Not on sale for under $5. I believe it's like $8 or something like that, but still well worth a pickup. But play Little Nightmares 1 first, a good time there. Next up, an absolute classic, Sonic Adventure 2 is 50% off for $4.99. I mean, Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that myself and so many other people grew up playing. It is a tremendous 3D platformer. From the gameplay, the soundtrack, like, why does Sonic just have the most like ridiculously great soundtracks for games that sometimes I feel like, yo, does Sonic Adventure 2 need to have this badass of a soundtrack? It doesn't, but it does anyway, which I just think is tremendous. You got quite a lot of gameplay here as well. You know, great title, man. They should do a full-on remake of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, and I do think ultimately they will do that, but for $4.99, no-brainer there. Next up, Dead Space 2, 80% off for $3.99. A lot of you guys may have played the Dead Space remake, but you're waiting for a Dead Space 2 remake. That ain't gonna be happening, you know. Dead Space is getting shelved once again. The remake didn't do that well commercially by the looks of it, but Dead Space 2 is awesome. I actually, comparatively to the original release, I did enjoy Dead Space 2 more than the original Dead Space, but you know, obviously, this isn't a ground-up remake like Dead Space Remake was, so you have to keep your expectations in line, but as a horror title, still quite good. Does lean more on the action-y elements, but still a very, very good game, and for $3.99, great deal there. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is down to $3.49. Now, obviously, this is a little bit older. However, it is still very much a great game. This is BioWare at their absolute pinnacle, at their absolute apex, and this is what they do best. You know, when they do their content well, you get Knights of the Old Republic, and there was a remake in development. I just don't think that's ever actually going to come out. I think you should go back and play KOTOR 1. Unfortunately, no controller support, which is a bummer. You know, these days it would just be nice to have controller support in games like this, but KOTOR 1 is great. For this price, definitely a good pickup. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is 90% off for $3.99. Excellent, excellent deal for Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order is a fantastic game. While I don't think it's as good as Jedi Survivor, it is certainly a better PC version than Jedi Survivor. It is still a fantastic game, and with Jedi, the Jedi games, you need to play them sequentially. Of course, this introduces Cal into the story, and he's a great character as well, and Jedi Survivor obviously follows up with it, and there's going to be a third game wrapping up his story. But yeah, Fallen Order is great, combat's really good, platforming and puzzles are pretty good as well. The only issue is, and I've reiterated this several times, is the map design in this game is absolutely atrocious. Like, it's god-awful. Unfortunate there, but for $3.99, the good heavily outweighs the bad, and I would still say that's well worth a pickup. Next up, Assassin's Creed 2, 75% off for $4.99. You gotta use your favorite in Ubisoft Connect to play Assassin's Creed 2, but AC2, to me, is still an all-time classic. Now, I recently started another playthrough of Assassin's Creed 2. Guys, this game does show its age. I play through AC2 every couple of years, but it didn't hit me as much as it did recently. That I'm like, man, AC2 came out 15 years ago initially, and it shows. It shows. Is it still a great game? Absolutely. I think the game is absolutely awesome. But keep your expectations in check from a visual and technical standpoint. But for $5, it's a great game with an awesome story. Great gameplay, and for $4.99, again, a good pickup there for sure. Far Cry 3, $4.99 as well. Another game you gotta go through. Our friends at Ubisoft Connect. But yeah, Far Cry 3 is a classic, and to me, Far Cry 3 was the game that really got me more into Far Cry, but I feel like with Far Cry 4 and onwards, it was too samey. Far Cry 3 had the newness factor from Far Cry 2, and I was just like, man, this is a great open world FPS. Great villain, of course. That is obviously one thing that people constantly go back to with Far Cry 3, and it being, 12 years old, visually, it still holds up decently well. I think it's a good pickup at this price point, definitely worth a shout there. Final Fantasy VII, the original, is down to $4.79. I still recommend everybody to play through FF7, the OG. I would recommend the Echo S mod that updates the visuals, and it has voice acting, full voice acting. It's a fan-made voice acting mod. However, the fans, whoever did this voice acting, did a tremendous job. I played through the entirety of FF7 with the Echo S mod, and I was blown away by how good the voice acting was. Like, those people are seriously talented. If you want to play it without it, you can do that as well, but yeah, FF7 is still an all-time classic, and given that the remake is going a little bit out there, it is still very much worth playing the original, and for this price point, worth a pickup there for sure. Next up, Mirror's Edge is down to $3.99. Mirror's Edge is a fantastic action platformer, although you don't even have to bring the action into this game, given that you could play through the entirety of the game without, killing a single enemy. There's a pacifist achievement, I believe, in the game as well. Yeah, parkour gameplay is great. Visuals, like the art style is really good. I'm not going to say it's technically blow away, but I really dug the art style in the game. For $3.99, a good buy there. Next up, we got Prototype. This is on sale for $4.99. A great deal for Prototype, an over-the-top mayhem-infused action title. Kind of like a superhero-esque game, although, the term superhero, I guess, could be a little bit stretched here as far as whether or not you want to view the main character as a hero. He's got over-the-top powers, and this game does a really great job of making you feel like an absolute badass. If I had to say anything about Prototype that's positive, that's the one thing that I'm like, man, Prototype gets that element right where you feel overpowered, and I say that in the best way possible. The visuals for this game are incredibly dated. I remember playing it when it initially came out in 2009, and a lot of people back then were even saying, hey, this looks like a pretty good-looking PS2 game. And yeah, that's definitely true, but gameplay-wise, I really enjoyed it. And for $4.99, definitely think that's a solid shout there. Next up, we got Valiant Hearts, The Great War, $3.74 on this. Really, really well-done, story-driven game, 2D animated comic book style game. Very much different than a lot of the other titles Ubisoft puts out in a great historical setting as well. For this price point, I think it's a pretty good pickup at $3.74. Another game, again, you gotta go through Ubisoft Connect. Black Mesa, 75% off for $4.99. Obviously, Half-Life a little bit in the news cycle right now, given the Half-Life 20th anniversary, them giving away Half-Life 2, the update, etc., etc. Black Mesa is a game that lets you relive Half-Life. Really, really well done reimagination of Half-Life. The visuals are solid, gameplay is obviously really great, and yeah, for $4.99, definitely a good pickup there. Fallout New Vegas is $4.99 for the base game. Really, you should probably pick up the Ultimate Edition at $7.99, but Fallout New Vegas at this point is seen, I feel like, by most people as the best Fallout game. Most people that I talk to seem to gravitate towards New Vegas. It is a tremendous, tremendous game. First-person open-world title. Yes, it shows its age visually, but man, what a fantastic game this is. Obsidian did a fantastic job with this, and considering that Obsidian and Bethesda are now all under the same umbrella, can we get a New Vegas 2 at some point? I feel like that would be, Microsoft needs to rehab their image a little bit. New Vegas 2 would be a game that would get people pretty damn excited, but that's my 2 cents on that. The Forest is down to $3.99. This isn't my cup of tea. You guys know I'm not big in the open world survival titles. However, for $3.99, this is one of the best received survival games. 484,000 reviews, 95% positive, exceedingly well received. And for $3.99, that's a great deal. So definitely give that a look. I'll give a shout to Batman Arkham City Game of the Year Edition. What I would really recommend is to pick up the collection, but Arkham City is my favorite of the Arkham titles. And for $3.99, a great deal here as well. Get all the DLC baked into it on top of that. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of deals under the price of $5. Links to all of these will be in the description box below. Remember, there will be a lot more content to come covering this sale, so be on the lookout for that. But that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.